Hey everybody. I am Romi Hill and I am the designer behind Designs by Romi. And this is my pretty much weekly YouTube live, although lately things have been a little weird, so I've missed a few, but here I am. It's lovely to see you all in the comments. Hi, Marianne, Monique, and Victoria. Hi, it's so nice. I'm so glad that you joined the chat this time, Victoria. Um, Welcome. So I have a little bit of an extra delay, I think. I think my connection is a little lagging today. So definitely go ahead and ask me questions in the chat or comments or whatever, and I will answer them. But it may be that I'm a little late. So, hi, Diana. Hi, Judy. Yay, it's lovely to see you all. So, whew, today I have lots of things. Let's see, all these things. So, first of all, I got my Lake Days shawl back from my local yarn store. So, I know a bunch of you have actually already knitted this. So, but I thought I could show you up close what it looks like so you can see what the stitches look like. And I am going to talk about my Uplift shawl. So this was on Neutrino, which is a little app. And so I have it released now on PDF, which makes me really happy. It's like the coziest shawl. And it's like the softest, coziest, squishiest shawl ever. So I have that. And then I'm also I'm continuing with my slippers. So here's where I am on my slipper. So this is my tea and a good book slippers. And last week I went over the start and the braid and how to connect the braid. And this week I am going to talk about making the increases for the cables. So thank you for joining me. So let's see. Hi, Julie, Sue, yay, Di, and hi. So, SL, hello, hello. I am so glad that you're here. So, thanks for joining me. Um, so, let me see. Let me just adjust this a little bit so it doesn't keep hitting my cheek and making weird noises. Okay, so let's take a look. I think I'm just going to do my little slipper first, and then we're going to go on and I will go through the uplift shawl and I'll show you more of a close up of my Lake Day shawl. So now everything is like piled in the corner, but okay, let's move this around. So here's where I am. And let me transition over here. Okay, and it's upside down. Oh my gosh, I can't believe this. Hang on just a sec. I'm just going to go back here and adjust this so it's not upside down anymore. Oh my gosh. It's like I didn't even notice that. Isn't that's kind of funny actually. Okay. There we go. Much better. I mean, I suppose I could have done it upside down, but then yeah. So Marianne asked what the green shawl is on display. This is Grow, and I put some yarn up on my site. This is a pattern for my 2017 Pins and Lace Club, and I just put it up there to remind myself, to remind you that I used to like large, huge overbuy for my clubs because I had, like in the before times, before shipping became so incredibly expensive, I had a lot of international club members, and sometimes their packages would go missing. So I used to like overbuy a lot for clubs. And that was when like now I only have like 50 places in my club, so that I can basically spoil you all. And but I used to have like 300. So I used to like buy lots of extra yarns, and so I had 17 skeins left of this lace weight yarn, and it's an alpaca, silk, and cashmere, and it's like the softest thing ever. And it is dyed by, and here I'm like just talking to you, looking over my shoulder, whatever. So this is Grow over here, over my shoulder. And it's like the most deliciously squishy, wonderful yarn. I have like 17 extra skeins. I've been saving them. They've all been bagged and everything ever since my club. So I've been starting to just like put up a lot of the yarn that I overbought for my clubs. I've just been putting it up on my site like every week. So there's some of that up there still left. And let me see. So Sue, oh, Lithia, yeah. Um, Lithia was a mystery shawl. So yes, I will definitely work on Lithia. I actually want to reknit it in different colors. So that that takes a little bit of extra time. Um, but yes, I will definitely get Lithia out. I promise. I will, I will. Okay. So now let me go back here. Okay. So here is where I'm at. I've done two of the rounds down here. So I need to do one more round. So when I switched colors, I just leave my strands hanging like this. And I actually, I'm not telling you you should do this. It's just something that I do. I tie them inside and I kind of stick them out of the way inside my sock, um, inside of the toe here. And that sort of keeps things together better. So one of the cool things, I mentioned this a little bit before about um, this braid. One of the cool things about it is it makes it look like it's a jogless join. Um, and I know I have my slipper. So it looks jogless because of the way this braid is put together. So I always love a nice braid. Okay, so I'm just going to do one more round and then I am going to start on the chart, which is what happens after this little bit here. So let me see. So Marianne Lithia was some years ago. It was a mystery shawl that they did. Um, they asked me to do the mystery shawl for the the prelude to the Rose City Yarn Crawl, and I just bunches of stuff happened, and I just never got it out released as my own pattern. So, but I will definitely do that. Hopefully I'm doing this on the right size needle. I hate it when I pick up the wrong size needle. Okay. So when I knit with my two circs like this, I always give it an extra tug in between needles. And that is going to it keeps me from laddering. Everybody holds their needles just a little bit differently though. So it might not, this might not work for you, but works for me too. Okay, so I have another vote for Lithia. Okay, I will work my way through them. I have Lithia, and then another one is Mountain Home. That one needs to be released, and then also Lulu. And I think there was maybe one more, and now I'm not remembering. Um, let's see. Okay, so that's what it looks like before I'm going to go over into my chart. Okay, so here is my key to my chart symbols. And I know a lot of people don't like reading charts, but I do want to kind of like give a little plug for cables on a chart, because when you do cables on a chart, it's very easy to visually check how you're doing, like a 2/2 right cross. So this is going to cross over the top to the right. And these all look like the cables that you're going to end up with. So just kind of a little plug for that. And I do want to add, when you're working on a chart, and you see these little cable things here, the little symbols. So when you're looking at this, you are not going to see a cross on the round or row where you see it on your chart. So this cross is using the loops from the previous row or round. So if you have to rip back or something like that, um, you are not going to see, like, you're going to see this row here, row 4. That's going to look like a straight stockinette row, because what you're doing is taking your stitches from the previous round here, and then you are using them up in this round right up here. So, okay, so let me see. All right, I'm just kind of trying to keep track of everything. All righty, so I'm going to do my left slipper, and I'm going to work my chart A. So for each round here, I am going to be working um, exactly in this way right here with the round. So I'm going to knit 3 stitches because I'm doing this second size here. And then I'm going to work my chart A round, and then I'm going to knit to the end of the round. So I generally will put a marker here just to remind myself where I start chart A. Okay, so I'm going to put that to the side, and you can see here, here's chart A. It looks like there are a lot of stitches in here, but these stitches right here do not exist yet. So these are the little lifted increases here, and then these 2 no stitch markers right in the middle here. So there are 12 stitches in this first round that don't exist yet. Okay, so I am going to sort of mark this down so I can, I'm just going to use any little thing to remind myself where I am. So here's where I am. I'm just going to remind myself. Okay. So here is my first round, my first bit of the chart, and I'm going to stick in a marker so I remember where it begins. So I'm going to do my 3 here. Oops, I think I yanked that down a little too hard. Okay, let's try that again. So I'm going to do my 3 right at the beginning here. Oops. And then I am going to stick my marker in. So this is just going to remind me where I'm going to be starting this chart. Okay, so all of this chart on here, you can see where the numbers are on the right side right here. That means that I'm going from right to left. So every single one of these um, chart rounds here, they're all read right to left. So in this first round here, I'm going to do my lifted increases. So my first one, that one is going to be my left lifted increase. And you can see down here, it also has written instructions. So this doesn't exist yet, so I'm going to knit 2 stitches. And now I'm going to make my left lifted increase. So lifted increase is going to be from the purl bump that's behind this stitch that I just knitted. So let me put that back on here. So it's going to be from this purl bump right here, but I'm going to knit the stitch first. And then I'm going to come up here and grab that purl bump from the stitch I just knitted. And I'm going to knit that through the back loop. So the reason I did that was because when I put this up on my needle, you can see this again where I am. When I put this up on my needle, my right leg of the stitch is in the back and the left leg is in front, and I don't want to twist it. Okay, so then these are 2 no stitch symbols here. That means there is actually nothing there at all. So there is nothing. There are no slip stitches or anything, so my very next stitch is a right lifted increase. So I'm going to come up behind again. So I want the purl bump from the stitch that's on the needle here. I'm going to put that up onto my left needle, and I usually just hold that apart with my thumbnail or something. If I don't have a nail in that particular week, I just hold it up there. And this one I'm going to knit through the front loop. Oops. And then that stitch gets knitted. So that's what it looks like so far. So now I'm going to knit 6 stitches, and I'm going to do that again. 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So I've knit those 6 stitches. So now I'm going to do my left lifted increase again. I am not going to take this bump that I just created. I'm going to go one down under here, and I'm going to use that bump to increase because I want the increases all to appear on the same round. And I always work the stitch that the left lifted increase is coming from before I do the increase. And then on the right side, I'm going to do the increase before, on the right lifted increase, I'm going to do the increase before I knit that stitch. So this one, I'm going to pull that up there again, and I'm going to knit into that stitch. And so again, I'm going to make the right lifted increase on the other side. I'm just going to pull that little purl bump up, stick it up on my needle, and knit that stitch, and then I'm going to knit that stitch, the origin stitch there. Okay, so that's what I have so far. And now I have another 6 stitches. Okay. All right. And right now you're like, oh my God, there are only 3 stitches left, but look how much there is left to do. But okay, so I just worked that 1 stitch. And now I'm going to do another increase there. Then I'm going to pull this stitch up and do another increase there. And now I'm just going to knit all the way around. So that is what that first round of increases looks like. You can see here. And then after that, there's just a plain row or round actually of stockinette. And then there's another round that has these increases in that here. And so I'm going to do those. I'm going to do those later. And then next week, when I come back to this, I will start on the cables and show you a few different ways of cabling. So I personally like to cable without a cable needle. And then there's also a fun way to do it using a bobby pin. I don't love cable needles, but I do have a cable needle. If I ever use one, I use this type of cable needle because it can hang down and the stitches won't fall off. So next week, all about cabling. Alrighty, and I'm just going to put this aside. And for these, I've been using just some browns. So this is going to be for the heel with the darker brown color. Alrighty, so let's move on a little bit over here. I'm just going to put this to the side. I think I need like all kinds of tables to put all of my samples on while I'm doing this. Okay, so the Uplift Shawl, that is next. This is the Uplift Shawl. This is my younger son, who is the best shawl model ever. And I don't get to see him that often anymore because he is on the road a lot. So he's been like going here and there and all over the place. So, but this was last winter that we had a little photo shoot. And so I was sort of like reminiscing when I was getting this together. Okay. So for this shawl, um, I put all the things in here, like all the techniques. So I started out with texture. Let me get this in here. Okay. So this is the loveliest yarn. It's from Julia Salin, and it is the softest, squishiest, most delicious, wonderful yarn. And it's also really lightweight, as in when you pick it up, it feels kind of like a cloud. So that is one thing about this. This keeps a really nice block. And that is because it's woolen spun. So when a yarn is woolen spun, oops, I'm kind of like there. When a yarn is woolen spun, before they spin it, it has to do with the preparation. They don't align the all of the like fibers perfectly straight like they do in a worsted spun. So when it's spun, it has more loft to it. So one of one of the cool things about this is that it traps more heat in here. And it's also feels really fluffy and light. So a worsted spun yarn, as opposed to a worsted weight yarn, is more hard wearing, and it also is feels heavier. Like when you pick it up, it hangs differently. So this keeps a really nice block. This is like a it has American Rambouillet. Let's see. I think I was looking for it. Yeah, it's 100% wool, but it's this really cool blend. I think Rambouillet, Merino, and Tarki, something like that. Yeah. So, and it is just lovely and soft and squishy and wonderful. So let's take a look here. This is based on a diamond motif, and it starts up at the top here, just with the texture. So just with knits and pearls, you can see there's a little diamond motif up here at the top. And then as we're working down, this diamond motif goes into the mosaic area here. And because these things matter to me, it is actually, it is kind of a seamless transition here. So this is centered in the middle of the diamond that goes into this mosaic. So this is the mosaic knitting technique where you are using slip stitches. So you're only using one color per every 2 rows. It's a different type of way to do stripes. So basically, this is a stripe of the gold yarn, and then the next one is a stripe of this taupe yarn, and it alternates stripes. And you can tell when you take a look over here at the side, this is garter stitch, and so these are just the stripes, and the patterning is accomplished by slipping stitches. So here's the diamond from above, and then it comes down into these diamonds down here in this little transitional section. So here again is the diamond, and it's centered above the diamonds in the mosaic section. And then we move on down to this kind of more open work lacy area here. Hi, Terry. So you can see again the diamond then transitions down into this lower area here, and it's centered again. So this is a really fun, I really like this lace pattern here. It's kind of more of an open work. There's a lot of solid in there. And this works down here, and then the edge is just garter stitch down here. And this is blocked to have points on the end here. It's not anything that's not really knitted into the pattern. It's just blocked. So the blocking wires are going to go through each of these points, and by stretching it, that's what gives you that sort of scallop on the edge there. Okay, so let's move this over. And Julie's yarn is really lovely. So if you can get your hands on it, definitely recommend it. It's beautiful. Okay, so let's take a look at this. So I have 2 colors here. So I have the master color and the contrast. So Sue says, I was looking at my Rowan soft yak, which is technically a DK, but I'm willing to work with the sizing to get the soft drape. Yeah, so definitely you can um, kind of mess around with different needle sizes to see if you get the right drape in there. And I will talk a little bit about the charts and how to make it larger if you want to. Hi, Deborah. It's lovely to see you. Okay, so as always, this is set up here's a little pattern synopsis, and then it tells you how to use the charts in here. So this first chart here, this one is a what you see is what you knit. So you're going to, you sort of see the pattern in there, like you can tell that there's a diamond, but what you're going to do is you're going to read every single symbol in here. You're going to knit it just like you read it in here. So if that bothers you, if you're used to doing texture with this other type, like this is basically what you see is what you get, so you can see the texture in here. These other charts are in the back of the pattern, so you can choose whichever format you like. So for texture, I actually prefer this format because I can see right away if I've screwed up. But everybody has their own preference, so I try to give you extra things to choose from. Okay, so this is not a repeatable chart here. But for those of you who want to make this bigger, you can repeat chart B. So every time you repeat it, you're just going to add one more repeat in this area right here. So you can repeat that to make it larger. So this is also not a repeatable chart. So as in, this is that little section in there that is mosaic. And this is done, you can see in here, everything is done with slip stitches. So the color reflects what you're going to be looking at when you look at your finished row. So you can see here from underneath, color 1 is slipped over this stripe here to start creating patterns. And then this is just 2 rows of color 1, and then here's color 2 again. So if you take a look over here at the side, you will see which color the row is. And then these slip stitches are, this is what it's going to look like to you, but you're not actually knitting those stitches. So this is only one yarn color per row. And if you forget, you can come down here, take a look. You'll see that the master color and the contrast color, sorry, I've been calling them color 1 and color 2, but it's actually labeled as master color and contrast color in the pattern. So you'll see they're marked in here. Okay, so let's go. And of course, there's also the written part. Okay, so let's see. Now I don't remember if I made this last chart here. Yeah, I did make it repeatable. Never mind. I'm just like having a moment. Okay, so here's another repeatable chart. So for those of you who want to do this in a lighter weight yarn and you still want a larger shawl, you can also repeat chart D. So charts B and D, you can repeat those as many times as you want to get a larger shawl. So in here, every time you repeat chart D, you are going to add one more repeat area in this little section here. So right now you're doing 5, and then on your second time through, there's 6. So if you want to keep repeating it, so like for you, Sue, if you feel like your DK is not giving you a big enough shawl, you can repeat chart B and then repeat chart D here. So this is in color, the contrast color, color 2. And so you can see over here, you can kind of tell. So these are just stripes to help you count. So the white and the yellow, that's just to help you count by 5s. So at a glance, you can tell how many stitches you have. So over here, I didn't want to make this super busy, so I just had this one color for the contrast color. But over here, I just changed over. So instead of yellow and white, I have this kind of periwinkle and white. So this is the contrast color, and these are in strips of 5. It's just to help you count across here. Okay. So woolen spun, I see you're talking, I'm not familiar with that yarn, Deborah, but woolen spun is like, yeah, that will make a beautiful shawl. So that will help keep it nice and blocked out for you because woolen spun does tend to block better. Okay, so up here you can see this is just the end. So if you do repeat charts B and D, or just D, or whatever you want to do, that will change the number of repeats when you go to the subsequent charts. However, it will work out evenly. So as long as the only two charts that you can do that with are B and D. So those are the two charts in here that are repeated more than once. So B is this area up here. It has these diamonds up at the top, and then D is at the bottom here, and it's going to give you this lace area here, open work area. So you can either repeat both of them or one of them, or do whatever you want. So that will work out for you. It's just going to have a different number of repeats on there. So if you want to switch around the sizes, sorry. Okay, so this is the end one, and then up here you're going to be binding off. And when I blocked it, I just put my blocking wires right above the yarn overs in here to kind of stretch it out. Okay, so here we are. This is my what you see is what you get charts. So these are the same, it's just a different way of representing the instructions. So let me compare here. So let's take a look at this last chart, chart E. So here is the what you see is what you knit. So you can see here, this is the most obvious place. These are all pearls. So this is purled garter stitch in between these motifs. So over on the what you see is what you get, you are going to see the texture of the front. So you can see here it's garter stitch texture. So you have these purl stitches, and then this is actually still purled on the back side, but because this is representing the front side of your work and the texture on the front side, it's going to look a little bit different. And it has its own little key down here. So here's my key. So these are the keys. This is the key to the charts in this shawl. In the what you see is what you get. So you can tell if you take a quick look and you're not sure what a chart represents. An easy way to do that is just to look at the key to the chart symbols. And here you can see that, for instance, the knit has a right side and a wrong side listed. So some of these don't, and that's because that symbol is only used on the right side. But you can see over here, all of these that are used on both right and wrong sides, they're going to have those right side and wrong side in there. Okay, so let me just move this around. And all the charts are in here. They're just a different way of representing what it looks like. Okay. So, and if anybody has any questions in particular about this, let me know, and I can actually go over this next time I do a live. Okay, so let's take a look at Lake Days. This was, okay, let me do this. Alrighty, so this, I just got this back in the mail. Things have been crazy, so I haven't been able to get into the yarn store. And so I just got this back. I think this is a really simple knit and kind of just a fun knit. So I'm just going to show you up close what everything looks like, because last time when I went over this before, I wasn't able to show you up close what these stitches look like. So this is the right side, and it starts up at this little corner up here where I have my label. So it starts right up at the corner here, and it just works down in garter stitch. So I don't know about you, but because I do a lot of charted lace, um, I am really bad when it comes to garter stitch. Like I lose count really easily. So whenever I do garter stitch, I always put a marker in next to the edge and sort of just make sure that I'm advancing the correct number of stitches on each row, because otherwise I just sort of lose my place, like my mind wanders, and there's no pattern to keep me sort of on the straight and narrow. So I forget to put in my increases here. So I just put a marker in here to make sure I'm increasing every row. So if you have the same problem, that might help. Okay, so let's turn this over. Okay, so I showed you this before. Um, this is kind of, thought this was really fun. I enjoyed playing with this. Um, this is really, it's a yarn over 2 rows. So what's going on here is that on my first row, I am doing knit two together and a yarn over. And then when I go back the other way, I am slipping each yarn over with a yarn over. So each of these little yarn overs has 2 strands, and you can kind of see that up close here. That has 2 strands in there. So then when I work across and when I change colors, I am just working a stitch into each one of those yarn overs, and it hides part of that. So then it just looks like little bits of color, like little polka dots across there, sort of. And you can see up here, it's if you have done brioche, this is similar to brioche or tuck stitches. So I really like I like, it's really easy to do, and I think it looks really cool. So I think it's relaxing and fun. Oh, Virginia, you have foster kittens. I am so jealous. Okay, so here is this little part is this really pretty wavy sort of patterning across here. So this isn't quite skewed enough to make it look normal when you're knitting it up. So just as a warning, you have to block this to make this into a straight line across here, because this is going to be a little bit like that at first. Like it's going to look like it won't block out properly, but just yank it on over to the side and block that straight across, and pin it out. And then when you unpin it, you'll have a nice straight line. So, but I love this. I've loved this ever since Cookie A used this on some socks like forever ago. I always wanted to use this lace pattern. And then this bottom part here is just a garter, and then we have just the stripes of stockinette stitch. So there we go. And then these are um, little teeny tiny picots at the end here of each one of these little stripes. So I think it's a super relaxing knit. And this is a sport weight yarn. This is super wash. It's a super springy yarn. So it turns out like really squishy and nice. Okay. Alrighty. So one thing I forgot, I was actually going to show you this. Back to my slipper here. I forgot I was going to show you. Okay, so I was talking a little bit before about the cast on. This is a Turkish cast on here. And see, it's kind of messy here. So I'm always trying to make my cast on better. So here's what I do. Here's the tail from my cast on, and I'm going to tighten the stitches from the opposite side of the toe across to the cast on. So if you look really close, you can see it looks a little bit like I rode out there because this is looser in here. So I'm going to go on this side and notice how this just looks kind of loose across there. So I am going to straighten this all the way across. So here's my big stitch right here. Like that stitch just looks much too big. So I'm gonna take that and straighten this out, just kind of adjust all the way across so that I can make this cast on look nicer. And I do this also with a figure eight cast on. It's really weird doing this on the camera. So, because I can't really see where I am, but okay, here we go. So I generally will just go all the way across and I hold on to the loop that I've straightened out. Okay. I don't like this though. That's still too loose for me. So I'm going to come back here again before I finish this up. I just don't like that little blob on the side. So I want to get that all nice and fixed up. So it's super important to start at the opposite side from the tail because you want to have all the extra yarn come out at the tail side. This is a little bit like if you do any type of grafting or anything like this is very much like grafting, where in the last part you're just sort of straightening things up and adjusting the gauge across there. So I've come to the end here, and now I'm just going to grab my tail here and pull. So I'm just going to pull that in there and get rid of the excess. And I think I'm good now. There's a little bit of extra over here, so I think I'm just going to go through that one more time. You may have to go through this a couple of times to get it to your liking. But I mean, it's no big deal if you're not picky. It just it just bothers me, so I like to straighten it out. But it's not going to hurt anything if you don't. So if you are not a picky person, that is totally fine. Um, this is always knitter's choice. Okay, now I'm just going to pull that. There we go. So I like that much better. It's not as messy, so that toe looks much better at the top there. Okay, gonna move this over here, and then so Mary Ann was asking about grow. I'm just going to take that down. Okay, so this is my grow shawl, and it starts up at the top. And I just realized I never wove in my ends. So it starts up at the top here. Um, it has some beads sprinkled in there, and also like my favorite stitch that looks like lace but isn't really lace. So I want to show you that up close. So I have used this on a few shawls. This is not really lace. There are no yarn overs in here. So this is a knit two together and KFB, and they are offset on each row. So it gives you this really lacy looking texture, but it's not really lace. So there are no yarn overs involved in there. So I think it's kind of a cool texture. And I first saw it used on doily. So I think doilies are so much fun. Um, so yeah, I love that texture. I think I want a whole sweater out of it because it looks so cool. Okay, so this is what this looks like up close. There are a few beads in here, right over there. And then the edge is one of my favorite stitches, and then some more beads on the very edge. And it has these little eyelets on the end here, and these are basically crocheted with a knitting needle instead of a crochet hook. So, oh yeah, Sue was talking about my fauché. So I forgot to say before, I'm going to be teaching a class on the fauché, like their knitted granny clusters, and I'm going to be teaching it at Vogue New York in January. So I am hoping to see some of you in my class. I think that would be really fun. It's um, it's a fun technique, and I think it looks very crochet-y, but it uses less yarn. And I don't have my sample that I've been working on like with me, although here I'll just go grab it. I've been walking back and forth with it, and I'll just leave something pretty for you to look at here. I'll leave you some lace, and I will start. I'll just keep blabbing while I'm doing this. So I saw that Sue asked if it was a virtual class. It is not virtual. It's an in-person class. So I may someday teach it virtually, um, but I don't. I think it will be a while. So this is what it looks like here. So little granny clusters. And these are the colors. So these colors are really making me happy. This is a modular knit. It's kind of similar to the way High Sierra is structured. So modular starts up here at the top. You have this fauché right up here. So you can see this. And the biggest issue that I had with this was getting the gauge right between going from between fauché and just garter stitch. So yeah, so I started. It's just these four colors. So yeah, so that's what that looks like. Okay. Anyway, does anybody have any more questions or anything? So I am about talked out today. We're still in the middle of our great tile replacement, and they're getting closer and closer to being finished. which is kind of amazing. I mean, we had um, it's all downstairs. My studio is upstairs. So they have been incredibly accommodating and wonderful. And that's why I was able to be up here today because they left me a little pathway through the new tile so I could go up and down the stairs. Otherwise, I had like this plan in the back of my head where I was going to climb out the window onto the overhang and like down a ladder. So I was determined, but but they gave me a path instead, which of course is better because I mean fewer bones could be broken in that way. So there's always that. Anyway, yeah, so that's what's happening. And so thank you everybody who I posted my floors on Instagram. So thank you, everybody. I'm so glad that you liked them. And then Marianne asked for the side, let me see, of the green shawl, which is grow. Okay, so this is what it looks like here. That's the edge of it. So you can see here, and I just blocked it by pinning this out here. So I thought this was really fun. Anyway, so it's not as bad as it sounds actually. The whole ladder thing isn't as bad as it sounds. I swear. So yeah. So my son was actually walking around on the area of the roof that I was going to climb out on, and it's like it's not a problem. But I didn't have to do it, so that's always good. So I am glad. Oh my goodness. Okay, so let's see. I do need my arms for sure, Marianne. You're so right. I definitely need my arms. Anyway, so I think I've gotten everybody. I think I've gotten every answer. Oh, and Sue said perfect blocking wire designing. Yes, I like to design edges so that you don't have to weave in and out all the way across the edge to block it out. So, yes. Let's see. Okay. Oh, Virginia, you ordered blocking wires. That's awesome. Yay. You're gonna love them. Blocking wires make it so much easier to block things out, and it's so much easier to get it like nice and even. You are gonna love your blocking wires. Anyway, thank you so much for joining me. I am gonna go run down through the tile path and, and have a little dinner. So thanks for joining me. I always love it when I see you in the comments. And if you could like and subscribe, I would very much appreciate it. And please let me know if you have any questions or anything you want me to talk about for next week, because I love answering your questions. And I will, if you have anything that you want to ask, I am happy to go over it in my lives. So thanks again, everybody. Take good care. Be safe. Enjoy fall. And I will see you soon. Bye bye.